magistrate reached a verdict. I have guilty or innocent. Spare me this mockery of justice.
Goku with the halo over his head doing the fusion dance with Piccolo.
Oh shit! Did he fusion with Piccolo?
No, I don't think he did, but the T-shirt is cool.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a fusion.
Be a good fusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually rewatching. I don't know if you knew this, but there's a thing.
It.
Did I mention this Dragon Ball Z Kai? Have you heard of this?
No, I don't know what you're.
It's 100 and some odd episodes. It's basically condensed. They cut the shit out of it.
Ah, right. Okay.
Which is very interesting. So they basically cut all the fucking garbage out, or the long. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how it's ended.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking show, only they managed to chop the shit out of it. Like, unless you're a purist, stupid to watch anything else. So me and Maddie tried to be purists about it, because she's like, oh no, I don't want to lose anything. And then, like, after 100 episodes of waiting for Goku to fight Frieza, she's like, we can switch to the other one.
Yeah.
So we finally started making some headway, and it's just so dope to see fucking Piccolo charge up. He charged up and beat the dog shit out of one of Frieza's forms.
Yeah.
Fused with nail and everything. It was awesome.
Yeah. Like, it's soap operatic in its pace. The original one, and like, it's how many episodes? Like, how many fucking episodes? What was that first guy that they fought? Radix?
That was
so many, or maybe it's
even the Vegeta fight took ever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any I don't know if there's any value in watching the original. That's sort of what I'm getting at. But
yeah. Well, not in its pure form. Like, I guess it's fine if you got nothing else and you're kind of okay with that pace. And
yeah, I mean, I guess if you were just fucking alone,
yeah,
and just looking to go through it, I just want to go through this. I understand then.
Oh, it's so frustrating though. Like, on watching it, like, day to day, or God forbid week to week.
That's what we were doing.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
She's like, "What is Goku gonna come back?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, he is."
Yeah.
Next month.
Any day now. Yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah, basically, if you want a reliable source of entertainment, you're gonna have to go over to G.I. Joe. I think something that delivers frequently, and with a heavy payload. So the Larry Hama guy, we're gonna do some Larry Hama today. Hi everyone, X-tinction Agenda, James. G.I. Joe, Larry Hama's run. We're gonna dip into that a little bit.
Real American Hero, Snake Eyes: The Origin, Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah. It's the 1984, and like, they did 155 issues month to month. There's a cartoon going on. There was a TV movie. I don't know if that's not delivery. I don't know what is. Each episode was its own thing. And these it's not earth destroying. It's not awesome like Dragon Ball Z is awesome, but it's
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hurting too. Like, this artist is hurting. He's scraping by.
Oh, we're talking about there's two artists we're talking about here. So both of them are broke down by Larry Hama himself. So he wrote it and he did the breakdowns. And then the first one with Steve Lealoa, I think that one's actually very good, with a lot of like interesting panels and panel transitions and shit like that. But then in issue 27, when Frank Springer comes in, that's a depreciation in quality.
I can see them shooting at the dog right now.
Yeah, fuck that.
Is it like, I mean, like, are your first guy? Sorry, what was that artist's name?
Steve Lealoa.
Steve Lealoa, yeah. He only did like 2 backgrounds in the whole fucking book. Also,
Oh, that's not fair. Well, yeah, I'm looking at some of the panels. You're right.
Well, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Like one for every couple pages.
No, man, take a look at it, man. There's like it's yeah, I don't know. It's not as bad as all that. That's a
Yeah,
diner
you're
they're
right.
in
I
and
mean,
stuff
the
like that.
diner's nice. Yeah, the
Yeah,
diner's
there
very
are. You're
custom.
right though. They're scraping when they can scrape. The workman comes out. The hack comes out. But anyway, for the most part, I think the characters are drawn very well. The panel arrangements work. The action's solid. Uh, I looks good. It's GI Joe. This is probably, I don't know what anyone can expect from this particular franchise. And
Yeah,
Larry's not hitting it out of the park as far as career goes.
it's true. What are we operating with? Like $60?
Yeah, I think so. They was just like, here, here's $60.
Yeah, Larry
Just,
says he's gonna write this.
and he did write. He wrote it like from the like the beginning, and it suits him. Like he's got a good military-esque talk, from his time in Nam and stuff like that. And I think and the characters, I mean, they're just toys. It's a large toy commercial, but for putting that aside, like everyone, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do like the transition from I guess this is Nam, right?
Yeah.
To modern day. Like I
Mhm.
like the back and forth. That's always, I mean, I guess it's kind of cliche. But I don't know, it works for this story. I didn't realize Snake Eyes was just a blonde guy that was like traumatized 75,000 different ways.
Yeah, me neither.
He's just basically like fucking post-traumatic stress poster boy.
Yeah. That scene when he saves Mary, what's her name? Scarlet. What's her fucking name? Scarlet. Is her just name Scarlet?
I think her name's Scarlet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. When he saves her, and he gets the things like blown up in his face or whatever. Where's that fucking panel? Rock and Roll told me later that he saw Snake Eyes carry me out of the wreckage with his head still in flames. He was standing there holding me safe with his ruined mouth opening and closing it in his ravaged face and no sound coming out. Like, that's fucking awful.
Yeah, because then when the helicopters kind of collide together and he saves her in his whole at the expense of his own entire head.
Yeah. His
and
ruined mouth.
He was fucking barely functional from post-traumatic stress prior to that from his other face injury.
Yeah.
From his original face injury where he didn't speak, he just went in with the trainees. And I like the judo throw training where she's like, he was letting me throw him. He never lost control. Mm-hmm. He's an elite black belt. And just like throwing like a fucking donkey onto his back though to make her happy, and then they fall in love. Then his face gets mutilated a second time. Why his face?
Because he was so handsome, I guess it's a weird kind of boys fantasy, like Phantom of the Opera kind of thing, like the idea of, because he has an inner beauty, right? He has an inner discipline and a silence and a mysteriousness, but he wears that mask, and it just it's like panty remover. They're into it.
Yeah, they maybe they want to. Yeah, they like that he never speaks to them and never takes off his mask.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. He's all bandaged up. It's so weird. I like that all the characters they're fucking hard asses. I mean, we'll talk about the plot of this thing in a minute, but like they've got really regular bodies, like regular Joe bodies. Not to no pun intended. Like no one's except for maybe Destro, who rocks like a skin tight outfit with a huge lapel, and I guess Zartan too is pretty buff, but
yeah, the Cobra guys are jacked.
Yeah.
Except for Cobra Commander, he's not jacked.
Wow, because he's a
he's a
slimy
little
piece of shit.
fucking piece of shit in a gross little suit, little wiry skeletal body.
Just in case you're wondering why this takes place in a swamp, like issue 26, so it opens up like Destro and Zartan are just like in this shack in the swamp, and like I'm like, why, like how did this happen? So I read the issue before. There's a secret base underneath that shack in the swamp, like an underground complex.
Oh, and the dipshits all came together and still didn't find it because they got derailed by a fucking dog.
I think they might have found it. Honestly, like I when I said I read the issue before this, what I really meant is I just like read the last few panels.
You just wanted to know why they were in a swamp shack.
Yeah, I was like, I need to know. And
why they got duped by a dog. We'll never have the answer to that.
Well, Junkyard's a phenomenal, well-trained lead special mission.
He's
dog.
actually a lead character in G.I. Joe franchise. I would say he's like, if you're going to talk about top 20 Joes, the dog's one of them.
I think that was ably demonstrated in this story. Like he like Destro, Cobran Commander, Baroness, Zartan, all of them horribly duped and like led into quicksand.
Yeah, he fucked them.
Yeah.
And then he got away. They had everybody had clean pot shots at him and he's out of there.
Yeah, he's the Snake Eyes of dogs, I think.
Easily.
Maybe.
Well, Snake Eyes has his own Snake Eyes of dogs, but that's a wolf.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
If you won't think G.I. Joe's cool just by listening to this by this point, I mean, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah,
there's so much love put into this franchise. So, like, you know, we've had an opportunity to talk about G.I. Joe as a thing, you know, as a toy and as a sort of franchise when we talked about the movie. Yes. But I'm always like, just like with the Transformers thing, I don't know if I'm marvel at it or anything like that. But it, you know, there is a lot of love baked into it, and it survived in a way that all the other franchises didn't. You know, Transformers and G.I. Joe. I mean, even He-Man doesn't. You know, I know they had the reboot or whatever, but I still say that this is never really. Even when it's rebooted as the same thing. It's not. It doesn't get rewritten. It doesn't get rebooted in that sort of way that Transformers or whatever gets rebooted. It's just like people want to go back to the original shit, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's what sort of that's what gets given to them every time it gets rebooted, sort of. I don't know if that makes sense, but no, and then it goes back to Larry Hama. Like the deal with Marvel, much like the Hasbro came to Marvel and they're like, look, we got these toys. Can you create a comic book line based off these toys? And, you know, same thing with the Transformers comic book. And everyone who was writing it at the time basically created all these characters for us before I think there was even a cartoon. Hama even wrote like little back descriptions for all the G.I. Joes, like gave them all their backstory and shit like that. And I think it's kind of a testament to his. I think he's like comparing him to a guy like Chuck Dixon or whatever. Like I think this is better. It's just he's just working with like a weird material.
Yeah, this is like a pure labor of love. Like something like He-Man, it turned out just because of the aesthetic, and a bunch of hack and slash designers just sort of like got like I watched a couple mini documentaries on it, and it just seems like they kind of got lucky. Mm-hmm. This isn't really like that. Like Larry and I'm sure a great number of other people put a lot of love into this. Like this got a treatment. Like there's just something to look back to, something to look forward to all the time when you dip into the G.I. Joe material. Yeah, and the characters all make we kind of know them. You know, like we know Duke and we know Snake Eyes, we know Scarlet. I think there is a core cast, even though there's a bunch of fucking jobbers all over the place. But you got your Destro, you got your the Cobra fucking Commander. Guys in the jungle that tripped and fell on his head. Yeah. I love it. So the dog basically looks like it's, and it really is like I didn't think about it until you said so though, but like the main actor of this story is the dog. He's the one leading the special mission, and he's not only like leading the Cobra
people to like a trap. He's also sort of like shooing away the Joes to keep them safe by leading them, forward. And so it's like this multi-dimensional strategy that he's employing here. And like their reaction is so fucking like these guys are like a special mission force. Like they're coming this way, and one of them literally says like, "Oh," and like dives into the water. Bunch of fucking idiots. Yeah, that Mallousy mutt.
That fucking dog. It's beautiful, is what it is. Also, I'm gonna. You wanna like glaze over the plot quick, because I was gonna dip into that second issue.
Oh well, there's not really much to. Basically, I guess some of the Joes have found a swamp base, and Wonder Dog is going to deal with that shit. So that's dealt with. We'll just say that we've covered that part of the plot, and then meanwhile, there's a flashback story being told to Duke. Duke Scarlet and some other dude who was in Nom. I don't know this character's name, and I couldn't find it.
Which one? The bearded guy?
No, the black fella. I don't. He's in Nom, but I just can't find his name. Yeah, I can't find his name like immediately on the page, and I didn't look it up. But he was in Nom with Tommy Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. And so they tell kind of a story there about Snake Eyes getting rescued by Storm Shadow, and then the story of his return so he gets injured very badly, his eyes are damaged or something like that, and then I guess there's also a third plot: Snake Eyes at this diner with his I guess one of his old ninja masters or some shit like that. And then Snake Eyes returns from Nom, but we also getting a parallel flashback about what Snake Eyes did after returning to Nom. So I don't know, like I'm not going to say it's like a fucking high art or anything, but there's a lot of moving parts here.
A lot of layers.
Yeah, and the seeming betrayal of Snake Eyes and of Storm Shadow, sorry, and the sort of rivalry between the two, and the Ninja Master gets killed. And now they're shooting at the dog. Issue 2.
Yeah. So issue 2, I was a bit. I know we just took a quick shot at the art there.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought to myself while I was listening, and I was like, oh man, we waited 2 issues to do a fight, and they're not fucking fighting. Like Snake Eyes or fucking Storm Shadow's running away, and then I thought, wait a sec though. This is actually dope because it's like a fucking car chase, basically, like in comic form.
Yeah.
So it's just like a full-on foot chase, and I thought it was great. Through the mall.
Yeah. Don't look at them; they're perverts.
That's my favorite part. Yeah.
Yeah. Mom, I never get to look at any perverts. Yeah.
A little Marvel shot there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a Marvel book. Yeah, okay. So I just think that like the basic, I'll agree. Like the basic comics work is competent. Like you can follow out of it. There's no Steve Lealoa. He's got like kind of a background in I guess what we would say independent comics at the time. Like to the extent that there is anything like independent comics back then. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like an alternative comics guy. He's done a lot of work for Eerie. Vampirella, same thing with Larry Hama, and so I just found there was a little bit more artistry to it, a little more care about like presenting the comics as art or borrowing from movies or something like that. This is just your typical meat and potatoes 1970s action adventure superhero.
Come on,
comics.
The subway fight, awesome work.
No, it's fine, but you could have seen this in Spider-Man, right? Like there wasn't anything especially. No, man, this isn't great.
There's a beautiful Nom flashback in there in the middle of the fight with Snake Eyes' face duplicated on 2 panels. Yeah, okay.
Well, it's fine. It's super competent. But it is no different than anything you'd see in any other superhero comic at the time.
Yeah, I guess so. I think I was just wowed by Snake Eyes' heart. He, even after having his face exploded twice, he still has the heart to save his shitty brother.
Yeah.
Storm Shadow. He ditches his knife. They make the lunge, and he literally pulls him down in between the two trains to save his life. Really, even though he knew he could have been killed. And then Storm Shadow talks to himself for 3 panels. 4 panels, 6 panels.
Didn't shoot my uncle.
Yeah, he explains himself. Snake Eyes doesn't say anything because he can't speak because his mutilated face. Yeah, I didn't realize. I always was under the impression that Snake Eyes made a vow not to speak.
Yeah.
I didn't realize his whole fucking head got blown off.
Yeah, I didn't realize either. I thought it was just kind of like a cool conceit, like maybe he was mute, maybe, like he was maybe born mute, and it was one of those situations where like autism gives you superpowers.
I was just thinking too. I'm glad that you got to be glad that fucking nobody oh man, Garth Ennis got a hold of something like this and made him mumble some kind of fucking horror show.
Yeah.
Would have been able to present that beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually I throughout all the Nam flashbacks and stuff like that, and it should be said that Larry Hama edited the Marvel book The Nam, so he's really invested in military shit, and thinking of, or reading the flashback shit, I was reminded of kind of a low rent Garth Ennis. This franchise, of course he'd make fun of it. Of course, he'd take the piss right out of it, but I bet you'd get some awesome military splatter shit out of it too if you just kind of let him loose in the G.I. Joe universe.
Oh yeah,
probably a match made in heaven.
It would be great with the wacky characters and Steve Dillon. I mean, we could dream.
Yeah, we could bring Steve Dillon back.
Yeah. Well, I thought Steve Dillon gave us all he could.
Yeah.
So many great memories.
Yeah. I was wondering if American Ninja had come out before this, but that was in 1985. I just wonder where the ninja craze comes from. I never really looked it up to just figure out when that started. There's got to be a.
And growing up, my older cousins had all these Joes and shit, and the coveted motherfucking Joes to have or Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no question about it. You have whatever fucking Joes you want. Those aren't the ones you need. Unless you got the ninjas.
This must have been such a sensation. We're kind of taking it for granted, but it's issue 26 and 27. Obviously the book's been running for a long time. We know that the coolest characters are Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and they made them wait so long. How many stupid origin stories do you think were told before this? The origin of Duke,
the origin of the fucking dog.
Yeah, all that stuff. And the fans, I would love to read the fan letters 3 months from this, when it finally catches up. Just to see what fan reaction was. This must have been so cool.
Oh, absolutely. And the same thing with the I don't know. I just think I don't know, I guess Bruce Lee was around, Yeah,
martial arts is fun. Yeah, but it's he's not a ninja. When did the ninja thing happen? Because there's Karate Kid, there's Kung Fu. Kung Fu has probably a bigger cultural impact prior to this, but somewhere along the line, the ninja became the coolest fucking thing. And was it Daredevil? Did Frank Miller do that to our society? I don't think so. There's got to be something before that. But I'm
currently reviewing there was samurai movies and ninja stuff in the 80s, but what Challenge of the Lady Ninja 1982. Okay. We should go watch that.
Yeah. We can go down this rabbit hole another time. I just think it's interesting as a kind of phenomenon, at the same time that as Japan is experiencing a massive economic recovery, and it's like still there was that trauma, like that basic idea that they well, not the basic, they were essentially the allies of the Nazis, right? So for a long time, they were the Japanese enemy, but then they sort of westernized and became an economic competitor, and somewhere along the line, like an Orientalist fantasy became mainstream, like this idea of the ninja as representative of like Japanese culture or some shit like that.
Well, I remember Enter the Ninja.
Okay.
And that was 1981. So would that have been old enough to catch Larry's eye and have him fold in some Nam stuff?
That's I think. I didn't look up what ethnic background Larry is. He's an Asian gentleman. So if I'm being a piece of shit here, I apologize for that. I didn't look it up, and I can't sort of identify on site. But he practiced and still practices like a lot of martial arts, and I think it came like in sword play and shit like that. I think it kind of, maybe for him it comes a little natural, and he's not necessarily jumping on a bandwagon or something like that. Because I remember reading in Eerie magazine, like a black and white story that he did about a fucking samurai or something like that. So that sort of idea had been on his mind for a long time.
Well, there you go. Larry Hama is born and raised in Manhattan in Queens, but he is Japanese American.
There we go. Okay, all right. So yeah, not well, actually, that kind of explains why Japan is represented in such an American fashion here.
racial biases confirmed.
Yeah. No, and there's a book series from so the University of Tennessee, I think it is, that they have conversations, like it's a collections of interviews with various comic writers and artists and stuff like that. And there's one for Larry Hama. And on the cover, it's got him holding his fucking katana.
Yes.
So yeah, he seems like a really interesting guy, and I don't regret reading this. Like this is a lot of fun, and I did want to comment on so the Soft Master, the guy that runs the diner or whatever, when that kid comes in.
Yeah.
And holds him up or whatever, and like there's a really overt Second Amendment argument, just like, and this was another thing that made me think of Garth Ennis. There's like this taking some time in a comic book to sort of put forward a philosophical position, someone have to do like, while also demonstrating technical knowledge about weaponry. It was very, because the guy's coming at him with a Colt, and he's like, its safety's off, but now I can slide it back, and the gun's out of the chamber, and I take this out, and I'm going to buy this gun from you. Thank you, kid. And Snake Eyes has a fucking Uzi behind his.
Yeah, he's got like a shitty fucking Matlock trench coat and the biggest fucking Uzi the world's ever known, the OG like 1980s Uzi underneath and he's got like a fucking Inspector Gadget hat on and a newspaper to hide his Uzi.
Yeah, and unless you want to deal with the Uzi guy. So yeah, and then afterwards there's like kind of a bullshit argument about fine gun control. It's about so he's got his own form of gun control. Basically, anytime anyone comes to rob him because he's a ninja master, he just takes their gun and buys the gun off of them. So that way, like he's I guess contributing economically to these individuals who clearly, they're only robbing him because they need money. And there's something really, that's fine. That's kind of an interesting way of doing it. But then they go into this thing like, in the Okinawas, they banned knives. And then what happened? Like, what does he say? Like, invent some of the deadliest forms. They went on to invent some of the deadliest forms of unarmed combat known to man. And who gives a fuck? Like, I guess that's my response to that. Like, it's meant to be like a rhetorical, if you take a knife from someone, they're just going to like learn to hit you with a rock. And if you try to legislate guns from people, They're just, well, what is he? It won't deter men from constructing bigger and better engines of destruction.
Well, yeah, it's a rhetoric. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's not a logical argument. And then to just like to casually pass it off as like, oh, if I was as skilled as the soft master, I could just disassemble guns and collect them and clean up the streets manually because people just need help.
Yeah.
Like that's such a. It's twisted.
It's like there's something to it though, like because you're right, people need help, and so he does help them. I just think that it's weird to equate, and this could only be done in 1984, equating ninjutsu with the most destructive possibility of the human imagination, like this idea that unarmed combat could possibly equate to, oh, I don't know, a 50 caliber machine gun.
Well, yeah, but there's something like you're just like a gun apologist sort of, or it's like an overly soft take on basically gun ownership, I guess, that's just done in like an overt kind of way.
Yeah.
And it's not like unnecessary, like doesn't contribute anything. It's just a little ha.
Yeah, no, it's just like it just really stood out, and it's like and it like, and it's fine. I think there's plenty of arguments for responsible gun ownership, and honestly, I'm not against it. And
no, me either.
I just think that this is a real bad argument, and it's like. It is, you called it a rhetoric, and I think it is a rhetoric, and I think it's anyone who doesn't take 5 minutes to just stop and kind of think about what was just said to them might be persuaded. And it's a G.I. Joe comic book, and I guess maybe it's the equivalent of a PSA announcement, right?
It's true.
Yeah, maybe I'm being hypocritical by like maybe it's just the brainwashing that I don't like. But,
that's totally fair. And I don't. I mean, like, and I'm with you on that too. I'd love to own a gun. I just wouldn't go through the trouble in Canada. It's too fucking tedious.
Yeah,
and I don't give a fuck that bad.
Yeah. The thought of having one is not that important. I don't know. I didn't want to like. I wondered whether or not to bring this up because I like. Not that we shy away from controversial subjects and pissing people off, but I was like, I don't know, I just wanted to point it out that it happened in these issues.
I wish I had a desk gun.
Oh yeah, man, nice AR-15, fucking.
No, just like a little fucking.
No, not an AR-15, huh?
Yeah.
More of a small arms guy, huh?
Yeah, a little home invasion, like a fucking desk pop, little desk Glock,
Right.
Maybe a revolver, a little silver revolver.
Yeah, I might have been reading too much Punisher.
Little fantasy kind of guy, like a shitty mobster,
Yeah, I wanted an assault rifle on my wall. I think that's yeah. I'm not kidding, man. If I had my druthers, I would have a katana and a fucking assault rifle mounted on my wall. You'd be like the
1980 Punisher.
Yeah,
Lundgren style.
Yeah.
People would shit their pants before you even had to fucking fire a shot. Oh, God.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.